Hey everybody, how's it going? I want to talk about something that I didn't realize was going to be an issue. It's bad enough when people, become homeless like I did about 2 months ago, but trying to get out of being homeless is not as easy as just getting a full-time job. Um, I thought just like before when I lost my good job because of my health issues, well, I'll have another job in a couple of months, and then ended up a couple of months ended up being 5 months. And over that 5 months, I went through my savings, which wasn't a whole lot. And then I couldn't pay my rent, and then I ended up living in my van, which is where I've been for the last 2 months. I thought, as soon as I get another job full time, I'll be able to get another place as soon as I save up, 1,500 bucks or so. Because rent's not that expensive where I'm at in Binghamton, New York. It's, generally anywhere between $600 and $800 a month for a one bedroom, depending on the location and how updated it is. It might be more. Um, you might find a studio or something like that, a little one room efficiency for $500 or $600 a month. But generally, even those now are starting to become more overpriced, which is what I'm getting at with this video. Uh, I work full time. I make better than minimum wage, but I just got back to work. I mean, I was out of work for like 5 months. So having a new job is a bad thing on a rental application. But not just that, some landlords are asking for an astronomical security deposit now because of COVID. They got ripped off. And I have a problem with asking for, more than a month's rent security deposit because the landlords here never give you security deposit back. I mean, a couple do here and there, but most of the time they always find a reason to keep it on you. They will use the smallest reason. Even if it's a $50 fixed hole in the wall or something, they'll use that as a reason to keep your whole $2,000. Some of them are asking for security deposits now. So even for a one bedroom, you might have to come up with 3 or 4 grand now just to rent. That's one of the issues that I'm coming across. Another issue that I'm coming across is landlords are wanting a 650 to 750 credit score now. And these are low income places. These are not the nicest places in town. They're low income areas. They're higher crime areas. I don't think if somebody had a credit score of 750 that they would be looking to rent in that particular area. Because with that credit score, they can rent in a better upscale place in a nicer neighborhood. So that I don't kind of understand. I mean, I can understand it to an extent, but when we're talking about an efficiency apartment in a ghetto, no. You should not need a 650's credit score to rent that place. I've had some rental applications ask for an extreme amount of information as well. The last one that I just picked up, they want to know your bank account, they want to know your account number and your routing number. Why would they need that information? Right? They can't access my bank account just with that information, but why do they want it? Is the first thing. It's kind of very questionable. But the fact that some of the rent is becoming overpriced, right after COVID, it got extreme. Like in 2022, it got really bad. Some people, they went as far as to ask for 6 months rent up front. I don't know anybody who's ever rented a place with 6 months up front, but if you're paying 6 months up front, you should not need the 650 credit score. So I'm kind of starting to run out of options. I'm going to look into some crappy hotels that say they have efficiencies. I'm not really sure about that because I've seen these places. I know that there's criminals living there. I'm not really sure that's where I want to risk staying for now, even for now. But they usually do a week to week or a month to month. So you're not locked into a 12-month lease. Another thing that I'm coming across, landlords are being really picky with your criminal record. I have a simple assault on my record, and that's going to stop me from getting certain places. It's definitely stopped me from getting some jobs. Simple things like DoorDash and Instacart. If you have a crime that involves a victim against somebody else, you can't do those. Everybody said that to me. Go do this, go do that. They all, Uber, all of them, they all denied me because of that reason. So I eventually found a job. Now, I didn't realize it was going to be so hard to get out of being homeless. So my next option, after I look at the efficiencies and whatnot, to see if I can't find anything soon, is to look into renting a campground spot. Not for a camper, for a tent. But they want like $500-$600 a month to sleep on the ground. And a lot of these campgrounds, they don't have any amenities. Like, there's no bathrooms, there's no showers. So I don't really understand why they're charging so much to sleep on the ground. I mean, I can understand if you have a camper, but you pay for the electric and everything. After that, I don't know. My only option is going to be to try and save up, $5,000 or so to hope to entice a landlord to allow me to move in. But I got to get something in writing, because I don't want to pay somebody $5,000, move in, and then 30 days later they want to kick me out and keep all my money. That's the kind of landlords that own half of Binghamton, New York. The ones that never give a security deposit back. They're usually New York City slumlords that never even come up here, but they have a property manager running their places for them. So this is the problem I'm having. Got a full-time job. I bring home like $2,200 a month, and I still can't get out of sleeping in my car. If anybody else is going through this, share your story. Tell where you're at, because like I say in a lot of my videos, where you are regionally, if you're near a city, you probably have more resources available. But if you're in the country like I am, there's very little resources. I'm actually a Pennsylvania resident. I just work in New York State, so that's why I'm trying to find a place in New York State to be closer to work to save as much money as possible, because my car doesn't get the greatest gas mileage. So if anybody else has seen this, I mean, I've seen, rent dramatically increase in some areas. It's because they're trying to attract wealthier people, which I understand to an extent, but the areas where some of the rent has gotten out of control is not an area wealthy people want to live in. So this is part of the things that the dynamic up here in Binghamton, like for years, for decades, they were trying to attract low-income people, I think, to keep the numbers up. You got to stay above 250,000 people to be classified as a city, and that way you keep getting so much federal money. But now they're trying to do the exact opposite. They're trying to attract more wealthy people. How are you going to attract wealthy people to a shitty area? It just doesn't make any sense. There are still some nice areas in Binghamton, not many. Endwell is probably the nicest of the areas around here. Vestal, obviously, because of SUNY's there. But Vestal, you forget about trying to rent out there. Like, the cheapest one bedroom you might find out there is like $1,200 to $1,500 a month. And you basically have to have a really, really good job to be able to afford to live out there by yourself. If you have roommates, that's another story. See, but I'm trying to also look into, I really don't want to live with anybody, because there's just problems living with people. So I'm not even sure. And even some of the people that are renting rooms out in their houses, there's one guy that's asking $2,200 a month to rent his second bedroom. That doesn't make any sense. $2,200 a month for a bedroom in an apartment. So his landlord might not even be okay with him subletting that room out. You might pay the guy, if he wants $2,200, he's going to want at least $4,400 to move in. He might just turn around and rip you off. See, there's a lot of suspect landlords. There's a lot of suspect postings online that I kind of don't understand. But whatever. I just don't think it should be this hard to get off the street in America. If you have a job and you can prove that you paid your rent on time in the past, except for one case, then I think you should be able to get a place. But it's not just me. Other people are going through the same thing. Share your story. Share what you've gone through. And like I say all the time, you don't have to give the exact town you live in or anything like that, but share if you're in the country or in the city or somewhere in the middle in the suburbs, wherever the case is, because somebody who's going through the same situation in the same type of area might look at your video as advice, and that way they're going to be able to kind of judge what they can expect in the future of them being homeless. Unfortunately, a few myths that I've seen on YouTube and TikTok and a bunch of other places. People say, go to a truck stop to take a shower. Well, I'm in the country and they want $15 to take a shower. That's outrageous, considering you only pay about $15 a month for an entire house of water. But that's what they charge. It's not my, I keep seeing people saying $3 to $5. I don't know where you're at that's only charging $3 to $5, but if you're in a city, there's no way. I don't understand. If they're charging 15 in the country, they got to be charging 25 to 30 in a city. So another myth that I keep seeing is sell your food stamps. What makes you think I get food stamps? First off, I don't get food stamps. I don't qualify for anything from the state because of how much money I made last year. They only go on what you made last year. Last year I made $47,000. So you don't get no help with that kind of money. I basically have to wait a year and make next to nothing to get any help from the state. And even then they're going to question it. Because I've worked my whole life. You work your whole life to pay for these programs, and then when you need these programs, they deny you, like Social Security and everything else. I'm starting to understand why people are starting to hate America. Because it seems like you work, you pay taxes, and then when it comes time for you to use a program that your taxes pay for, you get denied. While you see other people get it no problem, who never paid into it. So there's definitely something wrong. I can also understand why some people give up after a while of being on the street, because you can only try so much. And if you're in an area that's heavily populated, where the waiting list for housing are years long, after a while, your ID's no good, your cell phone runs dead, you can't pay for it. Nobody has a way to contact you. Everybody just makes these assumptions that there's all this stuff for homeless people. I'm telling you right now, there is not. I don't know where all these myths come from. Everybody just makes the assumption, you could just go on Section 8. No, you can't. It doesn't work that easily. I know we all saw the story about the lady in Philadelphia on Section 8 who got a place in Hawaii. Yes, she now lives in Hawaii on Section 8 housing. She waited 8 years for that. And that was the only place she applied, was she wanted to be in Hawaii. Took 8 years, but guess what? She doesn't work. She doesn't do anything. And she has a 1-bedroom apartment in Hawaii paid for by tax dollars. And she's been on Section 8 her entire life. Meanwhile, I've paid taxes my entire life, and I can't get anything. Something's not right. Something is not right at all. But I wish everybody luck. And maybe I'll have an update soon here. I don't know. But share your story. And good luck to everybody.